Welcome back, everyone, to Soulscapes, the podcast where we take a deep dive into the timeless truths of Psalm 23. Today, Angelina, we're really digging into what I think is one of the most comforting lines in the whole psalm. Verse 3.
Oh, I'm so excited for this one, Bill. Verse 3. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Just reading it, you can almost feel a weight lifting, can't you? It's like a sigh of relief.
Absolutely. That opening phrase, he restores my soul. I mean, let's be honest. Who among us hasn't felt like their soul needed a good restoration? Like you're running on fumes, completely depleted.
Oh, so many times. It's not just physical tiredness, is it? It's that deep spiritual, emotional, mental exhaustion that just creeps up on you. You're trying to keep all the plates spinning, and suddenly you realize you haven't really been present in weeks.
Exactly. And what does restores even mean in this context? It's not just a quick fix or a patch-up job, is it? When you restore an old painting, you're bringing it back to its original beauty, maybe even enhancing it after years of wear and tear.
That's such a great analogy, Bill. It's not just about repairing what's broken, it's about making it whole, making it vibrant again. It implies a deeper work than just a superficial feel-good moment. It's an entire renewal process.
And the soul part. I think sometimes we narrow that down too much to just our spiritual side, but the soul biblically encompasses so much. Our mind, our will, our emotions, our very life force. So when our soul needs restoring, it means our entire inner being is crying out for help.
Right. It's that feeling when your thoughts are a tangled mess, your emotions are all over the place, and your will to even get out of bed is just gone. You know, that's when the shepherd steps in.
He does. He really does. And how does he do it? How does God restore our souls? For me, it often happens in quiet moments, away from the noise, just being still and letting his presence wash over me. Or through his word, a particular verse just jumping out and speaking directly to what I'm going through.
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes it's a sunrise, or the sound of waves, or a child's laughter, those unexpected moments of beauty that remind you of the good in the world and, ultimately, the goodness of God. It's like a gentle infusion of peace into the chaos.
Yeah, those moments are truly golden. And sometimes for me, restores my soul also means bringing me back from a place of regret or guilt. When I've messed up, when I've strayed, his forgiveness and grace are the ultimate soul restorers. They bring me back to peace.
That's a powerful point, Bill. It's not just about exhaustion, it's about wandering away from the good path. And that brings us perfectly into the second part of the verse. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake.
Yes, this isn't just a passive restoration, is it? It's active guidance. Once our souls are refreshed, he doesn't just leave us to figure things out on our own. He says, okay, now let me show you where to go.
Right, and paths of righteousness. What does that actually look like in our everyday lives? It's not just about avoiding bad things, is it? It's about actively pursuing what is good, what is true, what is life-giving.
Precisely. It's about living in alignment with his character, doing the right thing even when it's hard, choosing integrity over convenience, showing kindness when you'd rather react in anger. These are the paths he leads us down, and they ultimately lead to our flourishing.
And the leads me part is crucial, because let's be real, if we're left to our own devices, especially when our soul is depleted, we often choose the path of least resistance, or the path that feels good in the moment but doesn't serve us long term.
Totally. We're prone to wander, as the old hymn says, and sometimes we don't even know what the righteous path is, especially when life gets complicated. We need that divine navigation system.
Exactly, and how does he lead us? Sometimes it's through a quiet nudge in our spirit, sometimes it's through the wisdom of a trusted friend, or through a circumstance that clearly closes one door and opens another. It's not always a booming voice from the sky.
No, it's often much more subtle, like a good shepherd, gently guiding his sheep, using his staff to tap them back onto the right track. He knows the terrain, he knows the dangers, and he knows the best pastures. We just have to trust his leading.
Which can be the hardest part, right? To actually surrender control and say, okay, God, you lead, especially when his path doesn't make logical sense to our human minds.
It can be terrifying, honestly, but then we get to that last phrase, and for me, this is the mic drop of the entire verse, for his name's sake. It puts everything into perspective. It's not just for our benefit, though we certainly benefit immensely.
Oh, absolutely. It elevates the whole experience beyond just our personal comfort or well-being. It's about something bigger, something divine. It's about God's reputation, his character, his very identity.
When God restores our souls, when he leads us in these right paths, it reflects on him. It tells the world that he is good, that he is faithful, that he is a trustworthy shepherd. Our restored lives become a testament to his goodness.
It's like imagine a shepherd who has sickly, lost sheep. What does that say about the shepherd? Not much good, right? But a shepherd with vibrant, well-fed sheep walking confidently on safe paths, that speaks volumes about his care and skill.
Exactly. So when people see us as followers of this great shepherd, walking with peace, exhibiting kindness, making choices that honor God, even amidst difficulty, it's a powerful statement about him. It brings glory to his name.
It's like, wow, there's something different about that person. They've faced challenges, but they still have a quiet strength, a gentle spirit. And then you realize it's not because of them, it's because of the shepherd who is guiding them.
Right. It shifts the focus from our own performance or strength to his unfailing character. He restores us, he leads us, not because we've earned it, but because that's who he is. It's in his nature to be good, to be a shepherd who cares for his flock.
And that's so freeing, Bill, knowing that his motivation isn't contingent on our perfection. It's for his name's sake. It's about his reputation, his commitment to his own character.
It really is. It allows us to lean into his grace even when we feel weakest, because it's not about us holding it all together. It's about him being faithful to his own nature. That's a huge comfort.
So, practically, for our listeners today, when you're feeling that soul weariness, that depletion, remember this verse: He restores my soul. Take a moment, be still, ask him to pour into you again. Open his word.
And when you're feeling lost, uncertain about which way to go, remember, he leads me in the paths of righteousness. Don't try to forge your own path. Look to him. Seek his guidance through prayer, through wise counsel, through the scriptures.
And always remember the why. It's for his name's sake. Your life, your journey, your restoration, it's all part of a larger story that points back to the goodness of God. Let that motivate you to trust him even more.
What an incredible truth contained in just one verse, huh? It's a promise, a comfort, and a profound declaration of God's character, all rolled into one. I mean, we could talk about this all day, Angelina.
I know! It's so rich, and it just builds on the previous verses, the provision, the peace, the quiet waters. It's all connected, isn't it? He provides, and then he restores, and then he guides. It's a continuous cycle of his love for us.
It truly is. So as you go about your week, remember Psalm 23, verse 3. Let it be a balm to your weary soul and a compass for your steps. Trust the shepherd to restore you and to lead you.
Exactly. You don't have to carry the burden alone. He is right there, ready to restore and to guide. Lean into that truth. It changes everything.
Well said, Angelina. Thank you for another insightful conversation. And thank you, everyone, for joining us on Soulscapes. We hope this deep dive into Psalm 23, verse 3, has encouraged and uplifted you.
Yes, thank you. Until next time, may you experience the restoration and righteous leading of the Good Shepherd in your own lives. Stay blessed.